I'm Jack Prins, one of the owners of Steadfast Construction. Um, Screened in porches, decks, patios, sunrooms, additions, and I would say occasionally carports and garages. And
Okay.
that is it. I don't do interior work.
All right.
I've actually turned down a lot of jobs that include outside work, but they want interior work as well. And I just say, we don't do it.
Is there a particular reason why?
Yeah, when I came back, I left for 5 years to go start another business on my own, and well, with another partner, and they're just still going strong, but they were
Duh.
they were
I love this song. I'm sorry. We can let it
yeah,
ring out. Hold on.
okay, but
Duh, duh, duh,
yeah,
duh,
that'll
duh,
go on for a
duh.
bit. So, anyways, I when I came back, the business was about to go under. This was about 15 years ago, and that's why I came back. He begged me to come back. My old business partner. He's like, just come back and help me do whatever it takes to get this back on pace. And so, not that I'm, this guru or anything, but I know marketing. I know marketing. That's about it. Sales and marketing. And he's in charge of all the crews, which now that he's living in the Philippines, I've sort of taken over that part too.
Okay.
But anyways, I looked into the books and everything, and I said, there's something really glaring here. We're not making any money on interior work. Almost every single interior job is a break even or loss.
Oh.
The money making jobs are the exterior jobs, but you trade them off, and this is part of why you're going out of business. The other part is you stop spending money on marketing. And so between those two, got rid of all interior work, started spending a higher percentage of our revenue on marketing, and we just blossomed again.
Yay. I'm so
So-
glad that you were able to troubleshoot what was going on and get right back into it.
It didn't take a genius. It was just, it was right there in front of you. You just had to look, and he just wasn't looking.
Okay. Well, thank
So,
you for sharing that background there.
yeah.
Speaking of background, I would love to know how you got into your industry, how you got to where you are today.
You don't want to know that
I
story.
do want to know.
my
Oh,
God.
yes.
So, in college, I framed houses, so I knew a little bit about that. But that can't help you build a porch, a deck, a sunroom, any of that stuff. But what it can do, it give you knowledge of just the basics, the foundations and such. But I was finance all the way, and I became a stockbroker, and I was a stockbroker for about 3 years, and it was all my life. All I wanted to do. I wanted to be a stockbroker.
Yeah.
And prior to that, though, for the first year out of school, I did the thing that so many kids in College Park do and around Maryland. They sell windows and siding. And I did that, and I hated it. And I was good at it, but I hated it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, my God. And ultimately, I finally got that opportunity to get a job as a stockbroker. And I jumped at it, and I thought, this is my dream job. And it's very difficult. Your first, you walk in, and for your first year, you're calling 200 people a day. And I am not good with rejection. And at least with the window and siding sales, I was selling about 50%. And that I can deal with. But when you call 200 people and you're lucky to get one, maybe two, that say okay, and then you might sell one of those two, that's a huge amount of rejection. And it was eating away at me. And even when into my third year, when I'm down to making 50 calls a day, because I've got now I have a book. A
Yeah.
book means you've got a group
Clientele.
of people that are underneath you that you've already that are your clientele.
Yeah.
But the problem is as a stockbroker back then. Now, what they do nowadays is they're money managers, which is a lot different. Stockbroker means your job is to tell your client to sell and to buy as often as possible, because that generates a commission.
Yes.
And it just left me feeling empty. So you had the rejection, you had the feeling of emptiness that I'm not doing anybody any favor. I'm not helping them make money. I'm just making the company and me money. And I'm not putting myself up there. I'm not a guy on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
But I think it takes a certain personality to just overlook that part of
Yeah.
it, you know. And I just couldn't do it anymore. And I quit. Third year, I just said, I'm done. I had nothing to go to. And so my business partner, who was my best friend, this is part of the story. So my older brother was his best friend.
Okay.
And he died tragically in a car accident
I'm
with
so
me.
sorry. Whoa.
And I came back from California. It was where I went to school, and I came back, and a year later, Kenny's younger brother, who was one of my good friends,
Yeah.
he died. He was shot.
Oh my
He was
goodness.
delivering a pizza, and so about a year later, no less than that, 6 months later, Kenny came to me and he said, "I had a dream. Your brother came to me in a dream and said, I'm to be your older brother now." I'm like,
Oh.
whatever, dude. And he goes, "No, I'm serious." And so he stepped into that role. And I had an older brother, 5 years older, but we weren't close.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kenny and I, it went from being, this supposed older brother, younger brother, to just best friends.
Oh.
And so everything we did, we did together, you know. And when I came to him, I said, "Hey, he lived on the top floor of the tallest building in Tyson's, and back then that was an old building. They didn't have these new buildings. This will date me, 29 years ago.
You look great.
29 years ago. Yeah, except for the hair color.
Still looks great.
So, anyways, well, thank you. I said, what am I going to do? He goes, "Well, incredibly, this week I was told that they're not going to make me manager over at New York Life. He says they're going to keep me as a sales rep at my office."
Yeah.
And he says, and I just the whole journey in this thing is you eventually want to make manager. And he goes, and I just can't do that. I can't be a salesman here for the rest of my life. And I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And he says, "You see those two buildings out there all the way in Ashburn? We could see them. They were the AOL, when AOL was rocking."
Yeah.
So once again, dated myself.
You got
And
mail.
another company called MCI, which is, went defunct. And they were building the two buildings right next to each other. And all around Ashburn, they were building these townhouses, these single-family homes that had no porch or deck off the back of them. And he said, there's these townhouses out there. There's these single-family homes out there that, need porches and decks. And I said, we don't know how to build those. I did framing during the summer to stay out in California, and you did some framing. And he said, "Yeah, but we can hire guys." I said, "Yeah." He says, "We can market better than the Chuck in his truck guy can, and we can we can build a company off of that." And so we had a little bit of money of our own, but we borrowed some money from his mom. We put together a little company that we ran out of my condo in the den,
Yeah.
like a little 12 by 12 den. Back then, you had to get a huge Xerox copier
Oh, yeah.
because that's how you made your flyers.
Yup.
And we made these beautiful color flyers compared to everybody else. And we would go out and we'd stick them. Everybody else, all these Chuck and the truck guys would stick them in the windshield. So somebody comes out in the morning and they see this thing in their windshield, they crumble it up, throw it away.
Hey, who put this here?
Right. So what we did is we'd go out in the afternoon, and we would put them in the doorway,
Oh.
right in their door handle, so that when we came home at night, they'd open their door, they'd see it, and they'd say, "Okay," and they'd put it on the table. But eventually, they would look at it, and so our phones didn't go in until about a week after we passed out about 10,000 flyers.
Wow. By hand.
By hand.
Wow.
The two of us. We eventually had a crew that would go out and do that.
Yeah.
But, when the phone line went in on a Friday, I checked the messages. And back then, you remember it was the message machine through the phone.
Yes.
So I checked the messages, and there were, if I can remember right, I think there was about 44 messages.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is incredible.
That's great.
And I scheduled about 22 of those for appointments.
Nice.
And we sold almost all of them.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
This needs to be a movie.
And we didn't have a single person to install them. We didn't have a builder.
That is a hustle right there.
So our next job was we got to find builders quick. And we were blessed. I mean, somebody was looking down on us because we found two of the best builders in the business. And those guys trained our next three builders.
Oh, wow.
And then from there, they trained the next guys. And so all of our guys that work for us right now, except for two crews,
Yeah.
all of our crews are made up. I mean, we got guys been with us 22 years, 24 years, 21 years. They started carrying wood, started digging holes, and now they're foremen of crews with three guys working underneath them, with two guys working underneath them.
You guys literally grew together.
It's what's that word? Nepotism. You know, they all would hire their family and stuff to come work for them. And so we actually have crews where we have two brothers that are two foremen. We have another two brothers who are foremen. We have a cousin who is a cousin to two of those brothers, foremen. So nepotism, yeah. But it worked for us.
Yeah.
It worked, you know.
Keep it in the family,
so
passing it along.
This is how we grew. This is how we started. And, you know, so, yeah, people say, you know, are you coming out to build my deck? Well, I was a stockbroker. Do you want me to? You know?
I mean,
right.
No.
Yeah. I could swing a hammer, but I'm not sure what I'm going to hit. So.
No, that's an incredible story. I love that. It's like so much like drama. Like I literally could watch a movie about this. Like two kids growing up. What are they gonna do? Like we've got a rebel here and a guy who's like trying to make it. I don't know. I feel like this could be a movie. It's so cool.
Well, you know, you guys are filming it right now.
There you go.
All right.
Visually
can
in our
I
head.
say that, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say that.
All right.
Heck yeah. No
All
rules
right.
here. No, I'm just kidding. There's rules.
How do you do that head movement?
This?
Look at that. Oh, my God.
I don't
I'm
know.
so old, I can't even.
Yes,
I can't
you
even
can.
look
You
up.
stop it. Oh, I wish the camera
my
could see that.
God.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, what'd she do? Remove her
That's
head?
right.
I'm just kidding.
Here, watch this. Here's how far I can look to the side. Look at that.
Stop. That's still good. You can still go like, sup, girl.
That's right. I can't do that.
I believe you. I'll show you after this. I'll show you
All
after
right,
this.
we'll practice together.
Yes, sounds
That's
good.
right.
Thank you for sharing that story. I do truly love that. So are you guys like, I guess, still together, right? Was it Kelly's
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and Kelly is my goddaughter.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I mean we're talking. I was there at the birth of Kelly. I was right there watching it. You know.
This is awesome.
And it just yeah. So it's been, he and I were like family. You know, people drift apart and come back together and stuff. So we've had parting
part
of
of
ways.
life.
And that was part of why I went off on my own. But then when he called and said he needed me to come back, I mean, we started this company together, and I knew that, you know, if he's calling me, he's going to be less chafed, and that's where we got to. We'd reached a point where we were sort of chafing on each other.
Yeah.
And when he called and said I could use your help, I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I couldn't say no. In fact, what I said is, okay, but here's what we're going to do. And I yelled at him. I said, you are not declaring bankruptcy. No, pardon my expression, but effing way.
Yeah.
Because I you know, no, not our company. And it was still my company.
Yeah.
And so I jumped at the opportunity to come back to the company I'd started. You know, at that point, it was what, maybe about 12 years earlier. And now here we are, you know, 29 years into this thing.
Going strong. Woo!
Going great.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to get into the marketing part just because you said like that's your thing, and I want to share your insights or tips or what's worked for you in your business with other entrepreneurs who may be listening, people who want to get into marketing.
Want to share those secrets?
I do, of course. That's why I brought you here. You got to share
Okay.
that if you can, pretty please. Maybe if I beg enough, you will.
All right.
That would be great.
No,
if you
that
could
was enough begging.
Thank
Okay.
you. I could do more, but
All
it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So if you could tell me what's working for you, what do you like to do? What's getting your...
So the story starts better if I tell you what worked.
Okay.
So when we first started off, it was flyering.
Yeah.
And then you could tell that flyer is starting to fade. So then it became the yellow pages. You had to put, and then you started with a quarter page ad, and that wasn't big enough because you weren't getting calls again, so you had to go to half page, and then a full page.
The full page.
And then as they saw that more and more people were doing full page, the price went up, went up, went up. And then we're talking in a matter of 1 year, the yellow pages died because of Angie's List.
Oh, I remember Angie's List, but I didn't know that's what put Yellow Book out.
So it came like that on, like, just boom. And luckily, and it wasn't because, I'm not going to say I was smart and I was way ahead of the game.
But you were.
It was one of these things, well, of course. So it was one of these things that I had just heard through the grapevine. I had just heard through, just, hey, look, you may want to look at this. You may want to get into this. So we got in early. And I got in hard. I got in where I just said, hey, every salesperson, I want from you every single month 2 of your clients writing something about us on Angie's List. So we grew, first 10, then 20, then 50. We now have 488 reviews. We're at 92% A's.
Hey.
And yeah, you did the head thing again. So the cool thing is that nobody's even close to us. And there was a company. This is a great story. So there was a company that, and they're out of business now, but this goes back about 7 years ago. There was a company that all of a sudden went from like 50 reviews to 210 reviews within 3 months.
Holy
And I said, that is impossible.
I was gonna say, were they
and I'm
real?
like, are you? And I called my rep. I said, are you paying attention to this? Look at this company. And he's like, no, we've done our background. They're fine. And I'm like, there's got to be something wrong here. He goes, no, it's different IP addresses, and that's what they look for.
Yeah.
And I said, but there's something wrong here. There's something absolutely wrong. And then it hit me. I said, do me a favor, to my rep. Yeah. I said, would you have them check the credit card? 2 credit cards were used for the last 120 reviews.
So they bought all of those. I knew it.
So they were paying a person or a group of people, 2 people, to just, go to like different libraries, go everywhere and write reviews.
I love how you got to the bottom of it. That's the best part.
God. And so, boom, they were kicked off of Angie's List. And they're out of business now. Why? If it's because they lost Angie's List, I don't know. But that's yesterday. Yeah. Angie's List is gone. Angie's List is now Angie. Mm-hmm. And they were bought out by HomeAdvisor.
Okay.
HomeAdvisor is not for a company like us. HomeAdvisor is for the Chuck in his truck. It's for the guy who says, I have $500 to spend. I want 10 leads a month. I'm willing to pay your $54 per lead. Mm-hmm. All right. And I will be at my cell phone at the beck and call when that lead comes in. So if it's a Sunday and it's 4 p.m, I'm going to answer that phone and I'm going to schedule that appointment.
Yeah.
My company doesn't work that way. We close our doors at 3:30 on Friday. We open again at 8:30 on Monday. And so no calls are being made. Nobody's answering the phone during the weekend. Mm-hmm. Nobody's there to call during the weekend.
Yeah.
So by the time I pick up that phone and call at 8:30 with HomeAdvisor, people say, oh, no, we've already got 2. We've already got 3 appointments scheduled. I'm out of luck.
Yeah.
So Angie was bought out by HomeAdvisor, and Angie now, they sort of gravitated towards doing the same exact thing. So they didn't buy Angie to run Angie's List. Mm-hmm. They bought Angie's List to turn it into Angie and then just sort of swallow it up.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we're looking for new ways to advertise. So I just said, you know what? I'm not smart enough. This is where I am not. All right. My marketing my marketing skills have a plateau, and I reached it. So what I did is I went out and I looked into who's good at this and who's going to charge me the least amount of money, and do it really well. Mm-hmm. And so I found a company called I won't say the name of the company. Okay. I don't want to.
Okay.
I found a company that writes blogs constantly looks for the right keyword, uses in the blogs keywords, gets us mentioned in other blogs on other sites so that it leads back to us. This is what they do, and they charge me. They charge me quite a bit of money, so I pay them just under 10,000, and of that, about 4,000 goes to Google to pay for our Google ads, and the rest goes to them for all the extra work they're doing on the side to generate our ad campaign.
Yes.
And the more you generate an ad campaign, this is what I've learned from them. They've taught me. The more you generate an ad campaign through Google, then the organic part starts. You understand what the organics is?
Yes.
So the organic part starts to follow, and we're seeing our organic start to just really kick some butt.
Yes.
Yeah, and so
That's what you want,
we're getting a ton, and here's what I was surprised about. About a year ago, I said to my office administrator, a guy named Omar, I said, Omar, do me a favor, run everything that we've done for the last couple of years, every single thing. I want to see what the growth is in the different marketing sources. I was shocked to find out that right now, 30% of our business comes from referrals.
Okay, so it's more of...
We're a big company. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You know, when you're small, two crews,
Like word of
yeah,
mouth.
I can get it. You know, referrals because but when you're a big company like us, referrals are, if you get, you know, I thought I'd get 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, it turned out to be 30%. So I was really happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm a motor mouth right now. So
no,
shut me off.
No, I
Turn
love
off the tap.
No,
Come on.
turn
now.
it up. No, I'm just kidding. What about with social media? Like, do you have somebody who's helping you on that? And I know you said the blogs, but what about on Instagram? Are you doing any dances on TikTok? Anything like that? I have to ask. Maybe you are.
I'm practicing my head moves.
You're welcome. Just kidding.
No, we started Facebook about a year and a half ago. It was started by a guy who left us to bigger and better things. I'm happy for him. He got an offer to be a 20% partner in a company. And I turned it over to another guy who works for me, and a salesman, who's got his thumb on the pulse. I wouldn't say thumb. Let's say he's got one of his middle fingers on the pulse because he doesn't quite. He's not all the way there.
Yeah.
And I'm hesitant to take it away from him and give it to this WebFX because they're actually cheaper than he is. I said, hey, look, I'll give you a percentage of whatever comes in.
Yeah.
With a cap on every sale. And that would actually, it's turned out that if I had just turned it over to WebFX, who really knows what they're doing, but, you know, I've got loyalty to him, and I'm saying, okay, you keep it. Let's see how you grow with this thing.
Yes.
And then Trex came to me just a month ago, and they said, you know, we're what's called platinum. So Trex, you can become what's called a pro if you sell a certain amount of Trex product, a gold if you sell a certain. We are one of the top 5 retail Trex companies.
Okay.
And because of that, we are a platinum. And with platinum comes tons of money that they will give to you towards Trex marketing.
Okay.
And they've come up with a new plan on this where that Trex marketing is going to include a Facebook blast for 3 months. Where you know when you know those little things that scroll down the side, the little advertisements that pop up, pop-ups, right? Well, they're going to be doing that with Steadfast. And
Perfect.
So that starts in November, and
I'll be looking out for you in November.
we get 6 months of this, and so I use their money because they said, well, it's going to cost you this, but guess what? You've got enough money for us to pay for it for you.
Okay.
And I said, okay, let me think about it. Okay.
Let me think about it.
Yeah. So this will be interesting to see how that works out. So that'll be in conjunction with what James does.
Oh, perfect.
But I have given James sort of it's Instagram, and anything goes on Facebook goes to Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? I'm learning this. This is. I'm not talking from experience. I'm not talking from, I know everything about Facebook and Instagram. I'm talking because as sort of trying to, you know, direct James on, you know, what I expect out of him.
Yes.
I got to sort of know what it's capable of.
Yes.
So I'm learning. Every week I learn. I'm a little bit more intuitive on it.
Okay. That's awesome, though.
But I'm still, oh my God, I'm still, you know, in 3rd grade. So
You'll graduate to fourth grade soon.
I hope so. I do. I think there's a test. So,
Oh yeah.
anyways, I'm gonna, give him a chance.
Yeah.
And if things don't produce by February, the way I expect them to,
Yes.
unfortunately, he knows I'll have to pull it and move it over to, and he's gonna see all this because he runs Facebook.
I was just gonna, in my head, I was like,
So,
no pressure if you're hearing this.
Yeah. So I better have this conversation with him.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Surprise.
So, yeah, but no, I mean, I get the feeling he's really working hard at it.
Yeah.
But if it starts taking away from his sales,
Yes.
and my God, he is just. So when Jake left, James all of a sudden didn't feel like he was second fiddle as far as sales go. Jake was, I've never seen anybody like him. We're sorry to lose him, but he had actually dropped because he was having personal issues. So it wasn't a big loss.
Yeah.
But when he was with us the first 3 years, I've never seen him knock it out of the park like him. James, though, my God, Jake left, and all of a sudden, who are you? You're personable. You're like, and he's going to see this again. You are like just a great guy to be around.
Aw.
Which before he was very stiff and quiet and kept to himself, and it turns out Jake was the one that brought him on. So Jake and him knew each other. So I think Jake sort of kept him down. And once Jake was gone,
he blossomed.
oh my God, that's a hard word to use with a man, but
He blossomed, okay? He blossomed with strength.
That's right. Okay, that works.
Right? Yeah, see? I got it.
Yeah.
No, that is amazing. And I love how close you are and comfortable you are with talking about your employees. I think that's beautiful. I'm going to say it. It's beautiful because it is. And I think that it's a good dynamic to have with your team where you can be open and honest and give feedback.
It is a team.
Right?
Yeah.
And
that's it.
you don't want to walk around eggshells, be like, oh, I don't want to, but you have to, like, you want what's best for the person, but also for the business. So you want to, like, just be like, put a little fire into them and just be like, here you go.
So if we're going that route, then I'd be remiss in not mentioning that, I've got a salesman who's also my assistant general manager, Nick. Nick, shout out to Nick.
Shout out, Nick.
And then we hired a new guy to replace Jake, which is Brandon. And Brandon fits in so well. He is just part of the team. I just need to get him to lift up his sales a little bit. You know that, Brandon. So, yeah.
Awesome.
It's a good group. It's a good group.
Love that dynamic.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about where you would see your company in the next 5 years. Like, any expansion?
You don't want to ask that.
I do.
No, I'm retiring in about 2.5.
No, this is awkward for me.
Yeah.
This is so awkward. Okay.
It's okay. I should have filled out the paperwork.
No, you're good. Stop it.
Yeah. So I'm actually, my business partner's in the Philippines.
Okay.
And as it turns out, he's there about 6 months to 7 months out of the year. Sometimes less, sometimes more. But that's what he's doing. He's got, somebody he goes out there to see, and she's got 12 acres of a farm that there's no air conditioning, there's no, it's hot a lot. So he loves it though. He embraces it. He's out there farming, and then he works out a couple times a week, in this 110 degree heat with humidity. And I'm like, more power to you, Ken. But he's found that what his niche is not going out and checking on the jobs. As a matter of fact, and he's going to hate when I say this, but as a matter of fact, when there's an issue, when there's a problem, I know a lot about the permitting. I know a lot about what can and cannot be permitted. I know a lot about how to build something and what it's, because I used to sit there, and when I was bored, I would actually read the code book. And it is boring reading, but when you're sitting around, I'm like, why not do that?
Yeah.
So when I have some free time, I just sit there and read the code book for about a half an hour and say, okay, got that. So I know a lot.
Yeah.
But and Omar, who does all our drafting, does all our architecture, he sends a lot of stuff to me and says, can this work? Is this, what do you think? And I'm like, no, let's change this and do this. But the guys call me, which is a really good feeling. And I'd say maybe once every week and a half, I'll get a call from one of the builders.
Yeah.
And these guys are foremen who've been building for a long time. But it's good when they call me and they say, hey, look, can you come out and help me figure this out? And sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. But more often, between the two of us, we get it figured out.
Yeah.
But I like that they call me. So Kenny is my business partner. He's in the Philippines, but what his forte is, and he's damn good at it. So we have a list every day of everybody, every single person who's working for the company, and every little aspect of the company that needs to be followed up on.
Yes.
And he's got a short-term memory. I'm not going to talk about his long-term memory. I don't know if that's great or not, but his short-term memory is phenomenal. And so what he read through on that list yesterday, he knows. He can actually not look at the list and know exactly what is on there. You know, okay, Omar, let's call Nelson,
yeah,
and say, Nelson, did you collect the check for $8,000? Nelson, did you order the windows? Nelson, did you call Jack to make sure that this was ordered? And he goes to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. So his forte is being on top of that. Now, do you need to be here to do that?
No.
So now my next thing is I've been moving down to North Carolina. I built a house down in North Carolina. Here's my pictures of it. It's absolutely beautiful, right on the water. But,
oh, nice.
Yeah, a place called Wilmington.
Oh, yeah.
And so my wife and I have been spending more and more time down there and less time up here. And so now I'm about 50-50. And what I find is that I can get just as much work done down there. I can't go check on the jobs, but I'm getting each of the reps and also Nick to go out and check on these jobs.
Okay.
And they are learning that they have to be tough on these guys. Hey, you did that wrong. You need to change it. No, there's no
You have to be.
You have to change
Yes.
that. And that was hard in the beginning because they'd want to go out and just say, everything looks good and everything. But no, now they know that, hey, if they want a referral from that client, they need to make sure that builder does not mess it up.
Yes.
So that was my job. That was Kenny's job before he left. And I got to tell you, my business partner, he can be a little bit of a negative guy sometimes, and he says the steadfast way, and and he's talking negatively. I think, if you go into any other business and you look at them, you'll find that we run a ship that's pretty damn good.
Steady ship.
Yeah.
Not the Titanic.
Yeah.
Stronger.
Yeah. And they don't need us. They don't need him. He does his job, through
Yes.
through email and what's that called? Audio FaceTime.
Yes.
And I will be doing my job through email, FaceTime, and just phone calls. And that's what I've been doing. I go down for 2 weeks and I get more done. I'm down there I work from 8 to 2 and I get a lot more done than I do when I'm up here, because when I'm up here, my desk is right there in the middle of the office. Guys walk by, Jack, can you take a look at this? Jack, can you take a look at this? I don't get that.
Yeah.
So,
No.
Are we almost done? Because you look like you're about to say you're
Oh,
done.
no. No.
Sorry.
No.
Do you want to cut that out? Do you want to edit that?
No, you're good. You're good. No, you are so good. No, but I think that's so great. Are you really planning on retiring?
I am. So,
Okay.
the more I move down there, and by April, we're going to sell the house up here in April, and then I'll be down there probably 3.5 weeks out of every month, and I'll come up here for the last 3 to 5 days,
Yes.
and I'll just stay in one of those,
Airbnbs or something?
Airbnb maybe, but probably in one of those more long-term like motels.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the courtyards or whatever they are.
Like bed and breakfast, maybe something like that.
No, they're more of like a courtyard type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Courtyard by Marriott, things like
Yeah.
that.
Awesome.
So and my wife, she can work anywhere. She works for a company called MITRE, and she can work they allow her to work anywhere.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
sure she's happy, and you'll be retiring soon, so she'll be even happier.
So when I retire, what'll happen then is I'll just basically move everything to a couple guys, and they'll take over a lot of what I do.
Okay.
And then I'll be there for, once again, if they say, hey, we need you up here for a couple days, I'll come up.
Yeah.
So it'll be a semi-retirement.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
To help transition into the full on when the time
Right,
comes.
right,
Okay,
right.
very cool, very cool. Is there anything maybe that I haven't asked that you would like for people to know who are listening about your business? I want to make sure I hit all those key points for you while I have you here.
So, one of the great things about what I said earlier, and don't cross my arms, what I said earlier about how the guys have all been trained by the guy before them, by the guy before them, by the guy before them, and then worked their way up from building, from carrying lumber to doing this. So if you go to Donald's job, and then go over to Mirko's job, and then go over to Rudy's job, one of the things you're going to find is that there is a very close similarity between the way each of the jobs is built. So, people might say they want this and that and all these different things, but the foundation of what we're building, the not the main structure. It's more of like, just, a photographer. A photographer might take pictures of a lot of different things,
Yes.
right? But eventually you start to learn what that photographer, their style is.
Yes.
And that is what we have. My guys build almost identically. There are a couple guys that are they're above the others.
Yes.
I mean, Nelson and Mirko. I mean, they're just an Omar. I mean,
You guys got like a signature style, is what you're saying?
No, Nelson, my God, Nelson will be put on a job, and sorry, Nelson, I'll put it out there. He'll be put on a job and it'll take him 50% more time. But what you get is you get a job. He's one of the guys that it's not like everybody else's. It's like, okay, the customer paid for X and they're getting X plus 30%
Quality.
more.
Yeah.
It's like nothing. Nobody can compete with him.
Oh, wow.
But he won't leave the job until he's done all his little extras.
That's such a good work ethic to have,
Yeah,
though, to be like, I want my boss to be satisfied. I want a referral. I want these customers to leave knowing that we did a good job, because that's our name on the line there.
You say all that, and that may be true, but I think it's more with Nelson. It's like, I can't leave until I'm satisfied.
So it's like a little tick in him that he's just
Absolutely.
Ah.
He is just, and he's not competing with anybody but himself.
Wow.
It's not like, one of the other crews is going to come over and look at his work.
Yeah.
He's just, and when I do retire, and Omar, who's our office administrator, he sort of takes over a lot of the
day-to-day?
more of what I do on phone calls and talking to people and such, but take over some of the marketing and things like that. He'll also know that he doesn't have Kenny to check on job sites. He doesn't have me to check on job sites. He doesn't have me to sort of oversee the sales reps, making sure they're doing the right thing, and he won't have the time to do that. So I think he's going to turn Nelson into his project manager.
Okay.
Who'll just go around and check on the job site. So why not make your best guy the guy that makes sure everybody else is maintaining something wonderful?
That would be a wise thing to do, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So that's the first part to your question.
Yes.
What was your question again? What is something special?
My question was, like, if you had anything that you wanted to let our audience know that maybe I did.
I actually knew the question. I was just letting you say it again.
Oh,
so
how nice.
The answer is there is no better company than Steadfast Construction. So
That's
when
right.
you want your deck, porch, or sunroom built, give us a call.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Does everybody end like that, or just me?
No, everyone ends like that.
Do they really?
No, just kidding. No, it's just you. I wanted to make you feel good. See, I got you now. Okay.
All right.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
No, but that
fair
was
enough.
wonderful. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here and sharing your
Okay.
story.
Sure.
The background of a family-run business.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll
Thanks
do
for
that.
having me.
Yeah.
All right.